What I saw was fun, never anything inappropriate. What I saw was work and play at work and fun. Mrs. Cosby was a frequent visitor to the studio. She was there a lot. That's what I saw.
Now 77, Phylicia Rashad confesses the dark truth about the Cosby Show for millions of people watching TV in the 1980s and early 1990s. The Cosby Show was more than just a fun sitcom. It was a powerful show that changed how African-American families were seen on television. At the heart of that show was Phylicia Rashad, who played the smart, kind, and classy mother, Claire Huxtable. She became one of the most loved TV moms in history. Her role helped paint a picture of a strong, loving, and successful black family, something that wasn't often shown on TV at the time. But now that she's 77, Phylicia Rashad is ready to share the truth about what was really happening behind the scenes. In recent interviews, she has opened up about the pressure of keeping the show's perfect image and the challenges she faced while working on set. She also shared her thoughts about Bill Cosby, the show's star, whose legacy is now very controversial. For the first time, she's offering the public a look behind the cameras, a place where things were not always as happy as they seemed. To truly understand Phylicia Rashad and her impact, we need to go back to where it all began. She was born as Phylicia Ayers Allen on June 19, 1948, in Houston, Texas. She grew up in a very talented and smart family. Her mother, Vivian Ayers, was a respected poet and scholar who taught her children the value of art, literature, and education. Her father, Andrew Allen, was a dentist who taught discipline and hard work. Even though her parents divorced when she was still young, their values stayed with her. Her sister, Debbie Allen, also became famous as a dancer and director. Their home was always full of books, music, and ideas. But growing up as a black girl in the South during the 1950s and 60s was not easy. Racism was everywhere. That's why her mother took the children to Mexico when Phylicia was a teenager. There, they were free from the harsh racism of the South. And Phylicia was able to grow without limits. That trip helped shape her view of herself and the world around her. From a very young age, Phylicia knew that she was born to perform. She loved acting, singing, and dancing. The stage was a place where she felt free and strong. She believed it was a sacred space where real stories could be told. After high school, she went to Howard University, a well-known school that supports black excellence. She graduated with honors in 1970 with a degree in theater. Howard gave her the training and confidence to be bold, smart, and proud of her culture. She learned from great teachers and performed in many stage plays. She was not just good, she was outstanding. Before she ever appeared on television, she was already making a name for herself in theater. She acted in Broadway shows like Dreamgirls, The Wiz, and Ain't Supposed to Die a Natural Death. She also took on more traditional roles in Shakespeare plays and Greek dramas, which were rare for black actresses at that time. In the late 1970s, she married football star Ahmad Rashad, and although their marriage didn't last, she kept the last name and became known as Phylicia Rashad, a name now linked with elegance, power, and talent. On stage, Phylicia Rashad stood out not just because she could act well, but because she carried herself with strength and grace. She had a quiet but powerful presence. When she walked into a room, people paid attention. She didn't have to shout to be heard. She played roles of teachers, mothers, counselors, and wise women, and she made every character feel real and full of life. People saw something special in her. She wasn't just acting, she was teaching and inspiring. As her career grew, she didn't just focus on herself. She gave back by directing plays and mentoring young performers. She directed works by August Wilson and helped others learn how to bring powerful stories to life. She even returned to Howard University as the dean of the Chadwick A. Boseman College of Fine Arts. There, she helped the next generation of black artists grow their talents and believe in themselves. Her mission was not just about making good art, it was about making meaningful art. Over the years, Phylicia has won many awards for her incredible talent. In 2004, she became the first black woman to win a Tony Award for Best Actress in a play for her role in A Raisin in the Sun. That was a huge moment, not just for her, but for black performers everywhere. She has also won several NAACP Image awards and was honored by organizations like BET and the Drama Desk. In 2021, she became the dean of her old college's Fine Arts Department, showing her deep love for education and the arts. Even today, she still appears in TV shows and movies. You may have seen her in Empire, This Is Us, David Makes Man, or films like Creed and Soul. No matter what role she plays, she always brings warmth, wisdom, and strength to the screen. She represents more than just a talented actress. She stands for grace, tradition, and excellence. Many people, especially black women, look up to her as a role model who never gave up her values, even in a difficult industry. But as perfect as Phylicia Rashad seems, her story also includes a difficult chapter that many people are still trying to understand. That chapter is connected to The Cosby Show. The show changed her life and made her a household name, but it also came with a lot of pressure and pain, especially after disturbing accusations came out about Bill Cosby, the man who played her on-screen husband. When the show first started in the 1980s, it was something completely new. Instead of showing black families as poor or struggling, like on Good Times or Sanford and Son, The Cosby Show showed a rich, educated black family living in a nice home. The father was a doctor, the mother was a lawyer, and their kids were smart and funny. It gave people hope. It showed a different, more positive image of black life that many had never seen before. Phylicia's role as Claire Huxtable was key to that success. She was strong, classy, and loving. She wasn't just a wife or mother, she was a leader. However, things got complicated as time went on. In the years after the show ended, Bill Cosby was accused by many women of serious crimes. These accusations shocked fans and changed how people saw the show. While some actors quickly distanced themselves from him, Phylicia stood by her former co-star for a long time. She said she never saw anything wrong during her time on set. In interviews, she often mentioned that the atmosphere on set was fun and professional. "What I saw was work and play at work and fun," she said. But others began to wonder if she was ignoring the pain of the women who came forward. For many people, her support of Cosby seemed confusing and disappointing. However, it's also important to understand that loyalty can be complicated, especially when someone has worked closely with a person for years. Rashad's position wasn't easy, and she received both support and criticism for speaking her mind. Today, Phylicia Rashad is trying to tell her side of the story, not just the story of The Cosby Show, but her whole life and career. She wants people to see the full picture. She wants people to know that she worked hard to earn her place in the world of acting. She wants people to see her as more than just Claire Huxtable or Bill Cosby's TV wife. She is a pioneer, a leader, and a teacher. She has helped shape the careers of countless young artists and has used her platform to lift up her community. Even though part of her legacy is tied to a show with a complicated history, that doesn't erase everything she has achieved. In fact, it shows just how strong she really is. Someone who has walked through both praise and pain with dignity and courage. In the end, Phylicia Rashad's story is not just about fame or awards. It's about purpose, strength, and grace. She grew up in a time when black girls were told they couldn't dream big, but she dreamed anyway. She faced racism, rejection, and controversy, but she never gave up. At 77, she's still standing tall, still speaking truth, and still helping others find their voice. Whether you remember her as Claire Huxtable, as a Broadway star, or as a college dean, one thing is clear: Phylicia Rashad's legacy is deep, powerful, and lasting. She's not just part of television history, she's part of American history. And now, as she shares more of her truth, we can finally see her not just as a character, but as a whole person, wise, honest, and unforgettable. Now 77, Phylicia Rashad confesses the dark truth about The Cosby Show at 77 years old. Phylicia Rashad remains a legendary name in American television. Best known for playing Claire Huxtable on The Cosby Show, Rashad became a powerful symbol of what it meant to be a successful black woman, wife, and mother on screen. For years, audiences saw her as the ideal TV mom: smart, warm, graceful, and strong. But now, decades later, Rashad has begun to talk about what really happened behind the scenes. Her reflections tell a more complicated story, one that includes both pride and pain. The Cosby Show was more than just a hit show. It was a cultural milestone. It changed how America saw black families. But after serious allegations against Bill Cosby came to light, everything about the show came under question. Rashad, once praised for her role, found herself in the middle of a difficult conversation. Could people still celebrate the show without ignoring the hurt caused by the man who created it? When The Cosby Show was first introduced in 1984, many television executives didn't believe it would succeed. At that time, there weren't many TV shows that focused on successful black families. Most shows featuring black characters followed familiar patterns of struggle, hardship, or stereotypes. But Bill Cosby had a different idea. He wanted to create a show that showed a successful black family living a normal, happy life. He wanted it to feel real and warm, not silly or over the top. His vision was clear. The show had to be relatable, but also respectful. One of the biggest and most important choices was deciding who would play Claire Huxtable, the strong and intelligent mother in the family. This character had to be more than just a background figure. She had to stand side by side with Cosby's character, Cliff Huxtable. She needed to be smart, funny, warm, and respected. And when Phylicia Rashad walked into the audition, everything changed. Her calm strength and graceful presence were exactly what the show needed. Originally, Claire Huxtable was written as a stay-at-home mom, but after seeing Rashad's audition, Cosby changed the character. He made her a successful lawyer, a move that helped shape the identity of the entire show. Rashad brought her background in theater and deep acting experience to the role. Her performance didn't feel like acting. She was Claire Huxtable. Her delivery, her posture, even the way she spoke made Claire feel like someone real, someone people knew and admired. As the show aired, viewers quickly connected with her. She wasn't just Cliff's wife, she was his equal. She was a mother who disciplined with love, a wife who debated with intelligence, and a woman who never lost her calm or her strength. Claire became a role model not only for women, but especially for young black girls who rarely saw someone like her on TV. She showed that black women could be elegant, educated, respected, and strong all at the same time. The Cosby Show quickly became one of the most successful TV shows in American history. It premiered on September 20th, 1984, and by the end of its first season, it was the third highest rated show on television. By the next season, it had climbed to #1 and it stayed there for 5 straight years. That had never happened before. The show's appeal was wide and powerful. For black audiences, it was deeply personal. They saw parts of their own lives in the Huxtables. They saw love, laughter, and family success that rarely made it to national television. For white audiences, the show was eye-opening. It introduced them to a version of black family life that was rarely shown: happy, educated, strong, and full of love. The genius of The Cosby Show was that it told a very specific story of black family in Brooklyn, but made it feel universal. It reminded everyone that all families, no matter the color of their skin, deal with parenting, marriage, school, work, and laughter. As Claire Huxtable, Rashad stood out. She wasn't just another television mother, she became the television mother of the decade. Claire was a lawyer who could debate with confidence in the courtroom and still come home to help her kids with homework. She was always composed, thoughtful, and respected. When she corrected her children, she didn't yell. She spoke with calm authority. Her famous scenes where she lovingly but firmly told her children the truth became legendary. Viewers listened closely to her words because they carried real meaning. She didn't need to raise her voice to be powerful. That quiet strength helped reshape what people thought a mother could be, not just in the black community, but across all backgrounds. For many, Claire Huxtable became a symbol of what was possible. She helped inspire a generation of women to dream bigger and carry themselves with pride. But The Cosby Show didn't only entertain people. It had real effects on society. During its run, applications to historically black colleges and universities increased. That wasn't a coincidence. The show often highlighted college life in a positive way, especially black academic excellence. It made education feel exciting and reachable for many viewers. Black students saw that success didn't have to be something rare or far away, it could be normal. That message, sent into homes across America every Thursday night, helped change the future for many families. Off the screen, Rashad was just as strong. She wasn't someone who just showed up, read her lines, and left. She helped set the mood on set. She treated her role with seriousness and care. Other cast members said she made the set feel like a real family. Over time, she also had a bigger voice in shaping her character. She made sure Claire never faded into the background, always remaining the heart and soul of the show. Through all 8 seasons from 1984 to 1992, Phylicia Rashad remained the show's emotional core. While Cosby's character brought the laughs, Rashad brought the balance. She was nominated for Emmy Awards and won NAACP Image Awards. But the deeper impact was how many lives she touched. Viewers saw her as more than a TV character. She became a mother figure to millions, a symbol of strength and wisdom. Even decades after the show ended, you can still feel its influence on modern television. Shows like Blackish, The Bernie Mac Show, and even dramas like This Is Us carry pieces of the legacy started by The Cosby Show. And at the center of that legacy is Claire Huxtable, a character so well written and well acted that she continues to be a model for excellence. She was not perfect, but she was complete, and for many, that was revolutionary. She gave black women a mirror where they saw themselves fully. But not everything about the show's history is easy to celebrate. In the 2010s, many women came forward with serious allegations of sexual assault and misconduct against Bill Cosby. The number of accusations grew, and soon, the once adored actor was seen in a very different light. Cosby was eventually tried and convicted, although his conviction was later overturned on a legal technicality. The world began to re-examine everything related to him, including The Cosby Show. Many fans were left hurt and confused. How could a show that brought so much joy be connected to such darkness? For Phylicia Rashad, the situation became very difficult. She had always shown strong support for Cosby, and in 2021, after his release from prison, she tweeted, "Finally, a terrible wrong is being righted, a miscarriage of justice is corrected." Her words caused a huge public backlash. Many people felt she was ignoring the pain of the victims. Others said she was choosing loyalty over justice. After the backlash, Rashad released another statement. She explained that her message was not meant to be hurtful to survivors of sexual abuse. She said she supported all survivors and never intended to cause harm. Still, the damage to her public image had been done. Some people stood by her, while others felt disappointed. This controversy reminded everyone that even people we admire can hold complicated, flawed views. Rashad's role on The Cosby Show was still powerful and important, but now it was harder for some people to separate the show from the scandal. She later spoke more carefully about the situation. She said she understood why people felt hurt, and she didn't try to erase the pain. But she also said she was proud of the work the show had done. It had given hope and pride to many families. And that part, she said, should still be remembered even if it now comes with sadness to today. As Phylicia Rashad looks back at her career, she carries both pride and responsibility. She knows the show helped change how people saw black families. She knows her role gave strength to women and inspired students to reach higher. But she also knows the legacy of The Cosby Show is now mixed with pain. Still, she stands by the importance of what the show achieved. People grew up with it. She once said, "It was a source of comfort, of identity, and then, suddenly, that comfort was disrupted." These are honest words from a woman who has seen the best and worst of fame. Even with the controversy, her performance as Claire Huxtable remains unforgettable. She was more than a character. She was a symbol of dignity, confidence, and love, and in many ways, she still is. She gave viewers something they didn't know. They needed a complete, caring, intelligent black woman who showed them what was possible. Whether speaking firmly to her children, sharing a laugh with her husband, or standing her ground in a courtroom scene, Rashad brought a rare level of truth and beauty to television. That truth still echoes today. As she enters the later years of her life, her work continues to inspire. It reminds us that art can be powerful even when it comes from flawed places. Rashad's confession about the dark truth surrounding The Cosby Show isn't just about the scandal. It's about facing the full story. It's about admitting that something can be both meaningful and painful. And in that honesty, she shows her strength once again. Phylicia Rashad helped shape a cultural moment. And even as time moves forward, that moment still matters. Now 77, Phylicia Rashad confesses the dark truth about The Cosby Show. For many years, The Cosby Show was seen as one of the most important and positive TV shows in American history. It showed a successful black family living with love, laughter, and strong values. The show gave viewers a new image of what family life could look like, especially for African American families. It ran from 1984 to 1992 and was a huge hit. Millions of people watched every week. Phylicia Rashad played the smart, kind, and powerful mother, Claire Huxtable. Her performance won praise from fans and critics around the world. But after many years of celebration, the truth behind the show's creator, Bill Cosby, began to come out, and it changed everything. What was once a shining light in television history became darkened by serious accusations. Phylicia Rashad, now 77 years old, has had to face questions about her support for Cosby and how much the show's image was hurt by the scandal. Many people who once loved the show now wonder if it's okay to still enjoy it, or if the actions of one man have ruined the whole legacy. Rashad, who has always stood by Cosby, now finds herself in a difficult place. While she didn't do anything wrong, her words and choices have caused deep conversations about loyalty, justice, and truth. The story of how this all started goes back to 2014. That year, a comedian named Hannibal Buress spoke out during one of his shows. He called Bill Cosby a rapist and accused him of hiding behind his good guy image. The clip of this moment went viral on the internet. People began to ask questions, and soon, the floodgates opened. One after another, women came forward with serious accusations against Cosby. They said he had drugged and assaulted them. And these stories went back as far as the 1960s. Over 60 women shared their painful experiences. Some said their cases had been ignored for years. These stories shocked the world. Many fans couldn't believe that the man they saw as America's dad could be capable of such things. News outlets, lawyers, and the public all followed the case closely. In 2015, Cosby was charged for one of the cases. He was found guilty in 2018 and sentenced to prison, though the court later released him in 2021 due to a legal issue. The damage to his name was already done. The smiles, laughter, and good feelings connected to The Cosby Show were suddenly tied to pain and betrayal. The cast, including Phylicia Rashad, was caught in the storm, even though they had nothing to do with the crimes. As the world tried to understand the truth about Cosby, people also turned their attention to the rest of the cast. What did they know? How did they feel? Did they still stand by him? For many of the actors, it was heartbreaking. Their work on the show was something they were proud of. It had helped change lives. But now, people viewed the show differently. Some TV channels removed it from their schedules. Reruns were stopped. Royalties disappeared. The show that once brought joy and success was now considered too risky to show. Malcolm Jamal Warner, who played Theo, spoke openly about his pain. He said it was sad to see such an important show get overshadowed by one man's actions. Other cast members, like Tempest Bledsoe and Keshia Knight Pulliam, stayed quiet or only gave short statements. They wanted to protect their careers, but also show respect for victims. But no cast member received more attention or criticism than Phylicia Rashad. As the woman who played Claire Huxtable, many fans saw her as a symbol of wisdom and grace. That made her words carry even more weight when she decided to speak in Cosby's defense. For some, her loyalty was touching. For others, it felt like a betrayal. In 2015, Phylicia Rashad gave an interview that would change how many people viewed her. She told a reporter to forget these women, saying that the real goal was to destroy Cosby's legacy. She believed there was a plan to bring him down, and she stood by his side. These words surprised and upset many people. They expected her to speak with compassion, especially as someone who had always represented strength and fairness. Her comments made headlines and caused a major backlash. Some fans said they no longer respected her. Others said they felt confused and disappointed. Why would someone so respected defend a man with so many serious accusations against him? Rashad's long friendship with Cosby was clear, but many felt she should have stayed silent or at least shown more support for the women who had come forward. The moment Cosby's conviction was overturned in 2021, she tweeted, "Finally, a terrible wrong is being righted. A miscarriage of justice is corrected." This tweet brought a second wave of anger. At the time, she had just been chosen as Dean of the College of Fine Arts at Howard University. Students and teachers said her tweet was hurtful and wrong. They expected more from someone in a leadership role. After the backlash, Rashad tried to explain herself. She said her tweet was not meant to disrespect survivors of assault and that she supports people who come forward with their stories. She called it a misunderstanding and said she was sorry for any harm caused. Howard University also released a statement. They said they stood with survivors and promised to provide support for anyone who needed it. They didn't fire Rashad, but made it clear they did not agree with her comments. Some students still felt hurt. They believed that her role as dean meant she needed to be more careful with her words. Others said she had a right to her opinion. This situation created a lot of discussion. It raised important questions about free speech, leadership, and how to deal with public figures who say controversial things. Rashad continued in her role at Howard and tried to rebuild trust. Over time, some of the anger calmed down, but people have not forgotten. Her name will always be connected to The Cosby Show, and now it's also connected to one of the most painful scandals in TV history. The line between acting and real life became blurred, and many fans still struggle with how to feel. The Cosby Show used to be celebrated for changing how black families were shown on television. Before it aired, many black characters on TV were shown in negative ways. They were often poor, struggling, or involved in crime. But the Huxtable family was different. They were smart, loving, and successful. The father was a doctor. The mother was a lawyer. Their kids were funny and respectful. The show gave people hope and showed a better future. But after the scandal, fans had to look at the show in a new way. Could something that did so much good still be appreciated if the man behind it did terrible things? Some people say yes. They believe the message of the show is still powerful. Others say no. They believe it's wrong to support anything connected to someone like Cosby. This debate has divided fans and critics. It has also made actors like Phylicia Rashad reflect on what the show meant and how it will be remembered. Even though the show was made by many people, the actions of one person now affect everyone involved. For Rashad, it's been especially hard because she has always been so closely tied to the heart of the show. In the years since the scandal, Phylicia Rashad has worked to move forward. She continues to act in new projects and has also taken on important roles in education. At Howard University, many students respect her for her work and experience. They say she is a strong leader who brings wisdom and professionalism to the job. Still, her past comments often come up in interviews and articles. People want to know if she still supports Cosby and if she regrets anything she said. Rashad has not completely changed her stance, but she has shown more care in how she speaks about the situation. She now focuses on the future, encouraging young artists and performers to find their voices and tell their own stories. Despite the controversy, she remains a respected figure in many circles. Her acting talent is still celebrated, and her role as Claire Huxtable remains unforgettable. But things are different now. People no longer see her as just a character on TV. They see her as a real person who made choices, and those choices have consequences. Her story is no longer simple. It is full of questions, emotions, and lessons. The story of The Cosby Show is no longer just about a TV family. It's about real people, real pain, and real mistakes. It teaches us that even the most beloved shows and stars can have dark sides. For fans, it's a reminder to look deeper and think critically. Can we still watch the show and enjoy it? Or should we move on and leave it behind? Everyone has to answer that question for themselves. Some people can separate the art from the artist. Others cannot. For Phylicia Rashad, the legacy of the show will always be part of her life. She brought Claire Huxtable to life with grace and strength, but now she must also live with the choices she made off screen. Her story is one of talent, loyalty, and the heady price of public opinion. At 77, she continues to grow, learn, and face the results of her words. The world will keep watching, listening, and deciding what her legacy will be, and maybe, just maybe, there is still room for healing, understanding, and growth for her and for everyone who was touched by the show.